Welcome to Singularity, the constructs of what we are, the components that we're made of. The atom itself is composed of a nucleus, which is a proton, and a neutron. The proton's positively charged and the neutron is neutral. The negative charge of the atom is created by the electrons that are swirling around it in some way or another. There's a lot of distance between the electron belt, if you like, and the core of the atom, the nucleus. Anyway, these electrons are zipping around doing their thing, and this is what creates electromagnetism, right? Because the atom is constructed of electrons, hence the electro bit, if you like, and then the magnetism is what holds it all together. So you have the electrons being magnetized towards the nucleus of the atom, and the nucleus of the atom sitting there, positive and the neutral, close together, bonded by quarks and gluons. Quarks and gluons are those constantly flowing, morphing things right at the core of your atoms that are continually changing in what's known as the quark-gluon sea. These little quarks, these particles, strange, charm, beauty, truth, up and down, are morphing from one thing to the other pretty constantly, absolutely constantly, with the help of the gluons which attach them together. So that's what you're comprised of. You are composed of this morphing sea of quarks and gluons, basically, plus electrons and a few other bits. So, where does that leave us then? And why did we look at black holes? Well, we looked at black holes because that's the most familiar singularity that we have. It's a reference point, if you like. Science has explored black holes and looked at the singular point at which the laws of physics break down, because they don't know what happens at the singularity of a black hole. Nobody has any idea. What's inside a black hole stays inside a black hole. Now, this is true also of us, okay? Because we are also units at which the laws of physics break down when you reach the core. The core of yourself is a place that nobody else has access to. Nobody sees reality exactly as you do, because we are all unique. We're as unique as the snowflakes and the grains of sand across the deserts. Everything is unique. It's a law, and it ensures that nothing can be replicated exactly the same as something else. It just happens to be that way. It's a law of nature. So we can't balk it, we can't do anything about it, we have to live with it. This is our uniqueness, our unique quotient. Now, there is another side of the coin, because everybody is the same. Everybody has a generic level on which they all exist, and they all react and respond to the same things in pretty much the same way. So there's our generic C. Let's call that our generic gluon C, yeah? Where all the things are changing all the time because we have different experiences and we have different things to say to each other, and the options are endless. So for now, we've got this singularity that we consist of to consider. And at the core of this singularity is our consciousness, and consciousness is something that science knows nothing about at all. They don't know anything about consciousness any more than they know what happens at the singularity of a black hole. So in either case, essentially you could say the laws of physics break down, because nothing is known what happens there. So this is your consciousness, okay? Your essence of being. The way you think, the way you feel, the way you behave, the things that you do, that you bring into your reality and that you put out into your reality, are yours alone. No one else has the experience that you have of life. Let's face it, everybody wants the same thing. So back to the generic quotient, you've got everybody wanting the same kind of thing, a happy environment, one that you can feel that you can be yourself in and there is no danger and there's no fear. That's what everybody would love to be. Let's look at what electromagnetism actually is. You'll probably find me now in a little box swimming around in an image of the electromagnetic spectrum, which is essentially everything that we perceive around us. We see colour, we see light, we see everything that we see due to the activity of the electromagnetic spectrum, or otherwise known as the EM spectrum, which is much easier to say. And visible light, the stuff that you can see, is a very, very little small slice. So we sit in our perception terms somewhere around about the middle with our relationship with photons. So we can go so far with science and we can get the information that we have and you can use it to our advantage because we can put 2 and 2 together and make 4, and sometimes we can put 2 and 2 together and make 5 or 3. That's life, isn't it? Anyway, the EM spectrum. This sits at the centre of our reality perception, so it's very important to understand what it is. Okay. Uniqueness, we touched on that. There's something in physics called the uncertainty principle. The uncertainty principle is essentially down to, as far as scientists are concerned, the fact that you cannot measure 2 things at once. You can't measure something's position and its speed or its trajectory at the same time. You can only measure one of those things, and then you forsake knowing about all the others. Now, if you take this a little bit further and you consider the uniqueness quality of snowflakes and grains of sand, which let's face it, there are rather a lot of, it's almost like there's a safeguard on uniqueness. Everything has to be different to everything else. It's kind of a law. So again, we have to put up with that. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, but it's never going to happen again. So don't worry about it. Because nothing can happen the same way twice. Think about that. Think about your own lifetime. Has anything ever happened exactly the same way twice? No. Even washing up is different every time you do it. The position of the plates will be different. The atoms of the water are different after all. Everything is not as it was all the times before that you did the washing up. So this is an extrapolation of uniqueness. Consciousness, unknown. That's where the singularity happens in terms of human beings and all other living creatures, presumably, because, let's say the life force that our electrons are giving us, it applies to everything that's alive and probably also everything that's inanimate as well. So how far do you go with that? I don't know. It's entirely up to you. Anyway, there's the mystery zone, and look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.